Today, we're jumping right into the fascinating and complicated world of Bihar's politics. On the surface, things might seem clear, but just underneath, there's a whole lot of confusion and division brewing. So let's try and unpack this political puzzle together.
For weeks, Bihar's whole political scene was kind of stuck in this weird limbo. The state's two biggest political fronts, the NDA and the Grand Alliance, just couldn't seem to land on who their leaders would be. So the big question on everyone's mind was, what's with the delay? What was really going on behind closed doors?
And then, after all that speculation, the names finally dropped. The NDA is backing the current chief minister, Nitish Kumar, while the Mahagatbandhan, or the Grand Alliance, is putting Tejashwi Yadav front and center. But here's the thing. The real story isn't who they picked. It's about the deep fractures that this whole decision-making process exposed in both camps.
All right, let's start with the ruling National Democratic Alliance, the NDA. Now, on the surface, their decision to stick with Nitish Kumar might look like a sign of stability. You know, business as usual. But when you look closer, it actually shows an alliance that is anything but settled. Okay, so here's the heart of the problem for the NDA. You've got the BJP, which is actually the bigger party in the assembly. They have more seats. But it's their smaller partner, the JDU, whose leader, Nitish Kumar, has the chief minister's job. This kind of fundamental imbalance, well, that's the source of some major tension. And that tension is being fueled by a few key things. First off, Mr. Kumar is 74, and there's a growing public feeling that he's, and I quote, slowing down. So the BJP, being the larger partner, sees what it thinks is a golden opportunity to finally claim that top job for itself. And to make things even messier, another partner in the alliance, the LJP, is openly hostile to Mr. Kumar's leadership. It's complicated.
So you might be asking, with all this friction, why did the BJP end up backing him? Well, it all came down to a simple political calculation. The leadership realized that all the constant public chatter about replacing Mr. Kumar was actually starting to hurt their election chances. All that uncertainty was becoming a real liability.
So the bottom line is this. The BJP's endorsement of Nitish Kumar wasn't some big show of unified support. Nope, it was a strategic move, born out of compulsion. They figured that despite his age and all the internal drama, Mr. Kumar still has a big enough following that they absolutely need him to win, for now at least.
Now, let's switch gears, because over in the Grand Alliance camp, a surprisingly similar drama was unfolding. They were also dealing with some deep internal divisions, and their final choice to go with Tejashwi Yadav was its own kind of strategic gamble. At the center of their story is Tejashwi Yadav. He is what you would call a deeply polarizing figure. He inspires really passionate, strong support from his core base of voters. But at the same time, he faces, quote, equally ferocious resentment from other groups. He's the kind of candidate where there's very little middle ground. And just like we saw in the NDA, there was some serious hesitation within the Grand Alliance. The Congress Party, which is a major partner, was apparently reluctant at first to throw its full weight behind Mr. Yadav as the face of the coalition. And that doubt created its own leadership vacuum for a while. So how'd they get past that? Well, they landed on a pretty clear-cut three-step strategy. Step 1, announce Yadav as the candidate. That fires up and consolidates his core supporters. Step 2, with that base totally locked down, you then try to expand your support and win over other voters. It's a classic political playbook, really.
So what we're really seeing here aren't just a couple of isolated problems within two alliances. They're actually symptoms of deeper, systemic cracks in Bihar's entire political structure.
This quote from the source just nails it. Both of these political fronts are so caught in their internal games of one-upsmanship and their own power struggles that it's undermining their ability to show the voters a truly unified front. You know, when you put them side by side, the parallels are pretty striking. The NDA is wrestling with an aging leader and an ambitious partner. The Grand Alliance is managing a polarizing candidate and a reluctant partner. The names and faces are different, but the fundamental problem of internal division, it's the exact same story.
And what's the result of all this? Well, we see these common symptoms across the board. You get leadership decisions that are made out of political necessity, not genuine unity. And this means both of the main candidates, Kumar and Yadav, are now facing what you could call a crisis of legitimacy and have to overcome some serious public skepticism.
So, where does all this leave us? I mean, when the established players are this divided, does it maybe create an opening for something or someone new? It certainly seems possible. All of this internal fighting and public confusion, it creates a political vacuum. When voters look at their main choices and see dysfunction, they naturally start to look around for other options. And stepping right into that vacuum is a potential third option: political strategist Prashant Kishore's Jan Suraj Party. They're trying to position themselves as the go-to platform for voters who are, quote, tired of Mr. Kumar and Mr. Yadav. It's a very direct appeal to anyone who's fed up with the status quo.
But, and this is a pretty big but, let's not get ahead of ourselves. While the opportunity is there, the source material is clear that for now, this alternative is still considered a long shot. Breaking through a two-alliance system is incredibly hard, no matter how shaky those alliances might seem. And that leaves us with one final and really critical question. With two powerful but deeply fractured alliances making choices out of necessity instead of unity, are we just seeing a temporary crisis? Or could we be watching the very beginning of a fundamental shift in Bihar's entire political landscape? I guess only time and the voters will tell. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.